bringing stats like a kingpin. MMA knowledge, nieces, nephews all lean in. Breaking down fights, codes that daddy supreme. On just a tip show, he's cooking up a dream. Uncle Weezy, he the man. Dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand. MMA guru, more than just a fan. Wanna know the numbers? Weezy got them cataloged. From the fighters reach down to how many times they dog. Just a tip living, breaking it down slick. Hit you with the knowledge, won't miss a single trick. Uncle Weezy, he the man. Dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand. MMA guru, more than just a fan. Balls, deep predictions, he be making those calls. Getting in the details, opponents feeling small. From jazz to takedowns, got the whole fight ID. Uncle Weezy spitting truth, no lie, keep it G. Blow the horn, blow the horn. Stat Daddy Weezy not showing no scorn. Fight night kingdom, he wearing the crown. Break it down for the peeps, never looking like a clown.
Oh, yes. What's going on, everybody? It's midnight here in Chicago, 1 a.m. Eastern time. It's time for Just the Tip, though. I wanted to get it done tonight. I don't want to do it tomorrow. I got shit going on at home. So going to go see some family, going to go out and get some Greek food, going to go out and get the things done that I need to get done in my life. So we're breaking down this card late night tonight. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about this week's card. I'm going to give you guys a quick full card breakdown here. I'm going to give you my favorite dog pick of the week. I'm going to give you Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. And I got a nice little 4-leg parlay cooked up for us that's coming in at about -7 or plus 750 right now. So we're going to look to make some money betting on these fights this week. And there's some interesting ones, but it's a tough week from a betting perspective. There's a lot of juiced favorites. You know, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fighters, which are -300 favorites or even higher than that. So there's a ton of one-sided fights, but we got to try to find some ways to make money on them. So I'm going to take you through that full card breakdown. Last week was a rough week for me. Down 4.5 units. The max bet on Tatsuro Taira's money line cashes for about 1.49 units. But I had a 3-unit bet on Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, who quit at the end of the second round after getting hit by a knee. And then we had Nick Klein bring about 3 minutes of cardio into the fight. So that was my dog pick of the week. So I lost 4 units total on Zaleski dos Santos and Nick Klein. My money line parlay for 1 unit crashed, and my probability parlay got 2/3 of the way home. The last leg, if it would have cashed, it would have cashed us a plus 846. But Rodolfo Vieira was unable to go out there and get a submission. So, yeah, this was a really rough one, but it didn't matter. We're down 4.5 units last week. We got to try to start making that back up this week, and that's what we're going to do. So if you guys want to support my work, if you want to get access to all the stats that you see on this show, when we look at the betting models that we have for every fight here, the over-under betting model, the side-by-side stats compared to the benchmarks for the division, the individual fighter stats, which you would actually see if better if it was actually centered correctly. There we go. And, I also do fight write-ups for every fight. We have the probability show, which is a prop betting show, which is about 2 hours every week. We do balls deep breakdowns with Uncle Weezy, which is a 2.5-hour show every week, where I read out the summaries of these fight write-ups, and we discuss all of the important parts of each fight so that we have everything so we know everything before we go in there and we make our decisions whether or not to bet it. So not only do you get access to my Discord and all my tracked bets, we're up almost a 10% ROI this year, I think. But after last week, it's going to be less than that. But either way, we're having a positive year this year, and you get access to a tremendous amount of information that's going to help you become a better. So check out that link in the description of the video. That's the best way to support my work. If you can't do that, click the thumbs up. hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment down below, and thank you for watching. But I'm going to take you through all the fights on this card here. I have picks for 11 out of the 12 fights, but I don't have anything for the Brundage Mechanico fight. They made this fight on Monday, and I don't break down fights that are made on fight week. These fights have a ton of variance in them. Cody didn't know he was fighting Eric. Eric didn't know he was fighting Cody. They slap it together at the last second. I don't know why they do this. They made this fight on Monday for some reason. So I didn't break it down. I didn't tape it. I will say that I did bet on Eric Mechanico in his last fight against Nursultan Ruziboyev. And not only did I lose that bet, it was an embarrassing loss. You know, when you're a capper, it's one thing when somebody at home makes a bet and nobody's watching. But like I'm out here, you know, making bets on fights and people watch the videos. They get viewed thousands of times. You know, some people just gamble based on what other people say. And when I say that I was betting on Mechanico, like anybody that watched that fight had to be like, what the fuck was Weezy thinking betting on this dude? So his UFC debut went awful. So it's kind of, I mean, it's really hard to bet a guy that showed absolutely nothing in his UFC debut. And the guy doesn't fight very often either. So Cody's the much more active fighter. He's definitely fought and beaten the much better brand of competition as a professional. Where Eric is supposed to be good is in the wrestling. We didn't see any of that against Ruziboyev. But Cody Brundage is a very good wrestler in his own right. And, you know, and Cody's got some pretty good hands. You know, he's knocking dudes down. He's got power. We saw him drop Rodolfo Vieira and really land some big shots in that fight. He also knocked out Terezi and Gore. That was a big win for him early in his UFC career. So, yeah, I think Cody should win this fight. But how would he win it? Would it be a decision? Would it be a submission, a guillotine? Would it be a knockout? I have no idea. And I have no idea what to expect from Eric Mechanico either. So I know that he's a decent fighter because at least I took a shot at betting on him. But if I bet on him against Nursultan Ruziboyev, I probably thought he was going to wrestle. And he didn't have any success being able to do that. And Ruziboyev's always had terrible takedown defense. So that's my thoughts on the fight. But I don't have a pick for this fight. I think Cody should win. But like I said, I didn't do any research on it, so I'm not going to give you a pick on this one. And Cody was a minus 150 favorite when we did the Balls Deep Breakdown show. I think he's a little bit further along now, maybe around minus 180 or so. So, but I don't, like I said, I don't bet on fights that are made on fight week. So this is one of those fights. It was made on Monday, so I don't want anything to do with it from a gambling perspective. You know, neither of these fighters had a camp. Neither of these fighters were preparing to fight each other. So it's just a high variance situation that I don't think it's responsible to gamble on. But the good news is I did research the rest of these fights, and we got Gabriela Fernandez versus Julia Stolyarenko. Fernandez is a big favorite here at minus 400. Stolyarenko plus 300 on the underdog side, and a big fight doesn't go to decision number here at minus 215. So I'm picking Stolyarenko sub one. I do realize that if she doesn't get the submission in round one, that Gabriella is probably going to knock her out in rounds 2 or 3, which is why the fight doesn't go to decision, is juiced to the tits at minus 215. But the fact is, you guys, I don't like this matchup for Fernandez. Her takedown defense is shit. Her ground game is shit. So Julia Stolyarenko, even when she doesn't win, she usually gets that takedown early in round one. And when she gets that takedown, it's going to be, you know, she's going to go for that armbar. She's not going to take you down, move to half guard, you know, and stay on top and land ground and pound and win minutes. She's going to sell out for the first opportunity that she has to get that armbar. And she can get it from a number of different positions. She'll get it from top position as well as getting it from guard. And that's what makes her dangerous, is that she can pull guard here, like she did at the end of round one against Luana Carolina, and had her in that arm bar that she got saved by the bell there. Chelsea Chandler was in an arm bar at the beginning of round one there. But Chelsea's a very good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu player. So, yeah, I think that this is an interesting one because I'm picking Stolyarenko to win. I just don't see anything in Fernandez's takedown defense to suggest that she's not going to be on her back in round one defending submissions for her life. So, yeah, I think Stoleno is going to sub her in round 1. If she doesn't get the sub in round 1, I think there's probably, like, if this fight starts round 2, I think Gabriela Fernandez probably wins it 9 out of 10 times. Julia's never been one to go out there and win minutes. Her striking stinks. Her wrestling is just okay. But her submissions early in fights are extremely dangerous. So I took a half unit shot on Stoleno to win by submission in round 1 at plus 1,000 to try to win 5 units. And the pick is Stoleno by sub round 1. The next fight, Uros Medic versus Gilbert Erbina. Uros is a big favorite here at minus 450. Gilbert Erbina plus 350. Fight doesn't go to decision, juice to the tits at minus 800 here. So Gilbert Erbina doesn't really fight. So I just don't take this guy seriously because he has fought 3 times since the beginning of 2020. So it's been almost 6 years, and he's only shown up to fight 3 times. And he's 29 years old. So he's in his prime now. So when you're in your prime and you're supposed to be a professional mixed martial artist, I'm expecting you to show up twice a year unless you're just constantly injured. And, you know, whether or not you're just like not dedicated to the sport, so you don't feel like fighting very often, or whether you're constantly injured, it's just a bad situation. You don't want to be backing fighters that either don't have the physical capacity to fight at their best, to fight like the best version of themselves, or that they don't have the desire to be in there in the first place. So, yeah, I think that Uros is going to knock this dude out. I mean, first of all, Gilbert Urbina's distance striking defense is absolutely god-awful. I mean, like, this guy, he blocks punches with his face. When you want to talk about somebody that does that, there are a few guys that have, like, just pitiful distance striking defense, and Erbina is one of them. But what Erbina can do is he can go out there and he can get takedowns, he can make you grapple, and he can get to your back and he can win minutes there. So I do think that Erbina, you know, could potentially, you know, try to grind this fight out, but he hasn't fought in 18 months, you guys, you know, so he's just a completely and totally inactive fighter. His only win was against Orion Kosi, and Orion had to retire after that fight. I mean, the guy is like, the interviews before that fight were hilarious because it was like, holy shit, dude, Orion Kosi can't fight. You know, like, he was like basically talking about all the injuries that he had. So I just don't see Gilbert Erbina being a threat at this point right now. He would need to be fighting a lot more for me to consider even him fighting somebody like Uros, who's been in there against some really good names at the UFC level. So, yeah, I think he's going to knock him out in round 1. I think Uros is going to, you know, this is just a horrible stylistic matchup for Erbina. And because Erbina is a grappler and because Uros will be preparing for that this time, I think that we're going to see his takedown defense look like it did in the Tim Means fight, not so much in the Oralby fight, because the Oralby fight he took on Fight Week, and he was training for a kickboxer in Johnny Parsons, who had to pull out of that fight. So, yeah, I think Medic KO won, pretty easy win there for him. The next fight is going to be Jocelyn Edwards at minus 310 versus Priscilla Cachoeira, plus 260. Fight doesn't go to decision here, sitting at plus 120. Yeah, I got an Edwards decision here, but I do think that she can find a finish as well. Priscilla Cachoeira is 0-4 to the submission as a professional, but if outside of the submission, she performs very well. I believe she might be 13-2 when fights are ending either by knockout or by decision. So Jocelyn Edwards, I believe, is the better distance striker. You know, she's taller, she's longer, she's got better long-range weapons, she's got a better jab, she's got a better kicks. But Priscilla Cachoeira is going to walk forward and close the distance, and she's going to throw that right hand over and over and over again. She's very predictable. It's very easy to see it coming. But if you engage in the pocket with her, she's going to land that right hand. And if she does it, it's problems. She's got real power for the division. Collar tie uppercut knockout against what's her name, Josiane Nunez. That was a brilliant 135-pound debut for Cachoeira, but Jocelyn Edwards is so much bigger. You know, I think we still don't know, because we saw Cachoeira get out physicaled so often at 125. How is that going to work for her at 135 now? against somebody like Jocelyn, who really has been upping the level of her wrestling and grappling games over her last few fights. So I think Edwards, she could win this by knockout. I think she could win it by submission. I think she could win it by decision. But I think in order to do any of those things, what she needs to do is to grapple. Because she just doesn't want to stand up with Priscilla Catchawa. Priscilla hits so hard. So I think Zombie Girl is live to knock anybody out. If you make the mistake of just standing in front of her and trading bombs with her, you're going to make Priscilla Catchawa look a lot better than what her money line suggests here at about plus 260. But the takedown defense wasn't holding up at 125. Against bigger, more physical ladies at 135, I don't think that that's going to work well for Priscilla. And I think Jocelyn's going to fight smart. I think she's going to make her grapple. And if she does that, I think she's going to put her in some bad spots on the ground. Priscilla's got a ton of heart and no quit in her. So even if she does get taken down, I think it's going to be difficult for Jocelyn to finish her. But I think she might be able to find a rear naked choke at some point. But the pick is Jocelyn Edwards to win this one by decision. And I think it's going to be a really fun fight. The next one, Elijah Smith is a minus 700 favorite over Toshiomi Kazama plus 500. The fight doesn't go to decision here, sitting at minus 400. So people are expecting Elijah Smith to go through this kid and just get a knockout. That's what I think is going to happen too. I think he proved a lot in his debut against Vince Morales. And Vince Morales is a better wrestler than Toshiomi Kazama is. So the fact that Smith was able to not only stay safe from some of the submission attempts in the scrambles that happened, because Vince Morales has got a really sneaky front choke series. Kazama is going to be looking to grapple here for sure. But I think the better offensive and defensive wrestler here is Elijah Smith. And he's fast. He's really fast and he hits hard. And Toshi just doesn't have a very good chin at all. So I think he's just not ready to take shots at this level. And Elijah Smith has shown that his wrestling is good enough, I think, to stay safe from the grappling attempts of Kazama here. And if he could keep this dude off of his back, if he can keep him in front of him, I think Smith's eventually going to find the chin and knock this guy out. It's probably not going to take very long. Kid hits hard. He's fast. He's accurate. I'm very impressed with what I've seen from Smith because he's very young. I believe he's 23. He might not even be 23 yet. This kid has got a pretty bright future, and he's going to continue to put wins together against fighters of this level. But it's a minus 700 money line, so there's not much that we can do here. But Elijah Smith, first round KO is what I'm looking at for this fight. Not surprising, by the way. And we got another big favorite here, Julius the Juice Box Walker going up against Rafael Sircar. Walker minus 600, Sircar plus 425. Fight doesn't go to decision here. Juiced to the tits at minus 1,000. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going with Walker. I think a ground and pound knockout in round 2 is probably the most likely scenario, but I'm not going to have any action on this fight. Julius is striking. I think it's a work in progress as far as UFC level goes. And I don't know who's going to win the distance striking exchanges here. I think Sircar actually could be live to land some decent shots on the feet. But the bottom line about Sircar is that we don't know anything about this guy. There was no footage of him fighting on the regional scene that was available. And he was fighting in third-rate promotions. He was fighting in an organization called Demo Fightchi. And Demo is an organization that was basically built by the gym Galpao de Luta to pad Galpao de Luta's fighters' record. So what you'll see when you look at a Demo Fightchi card, if you were to go into, like for instance, let's do this here. Can we get to, yeah, I'm going to take you over here to Tapology. So we're going to go to Sircar. He's over here. All right. So you'll see here that before the UFC, Ibo Aslan, Demo Fight 19, Demo Fight 18, Demo Fight 17, 16, 14, 13, 10. So he's at all these Demo Fight events. So if you click on the Demo Fight events, when you click on the winning fighter, they'll usually be from Galpao de Luta. They'll never be the losing fighter. This guy is not going to be from Galpao de Luta, you know? So, yeah, this is their gym. So, Josielton Santos, he does have 7 wins in demo fights. So, he's probably from Galpao de Luta, but it says Arte Local Fight Team is where he's from. But you're going to usually find these guys that are Galpao de Luta fighters in this organization here. So this is where they pad their records. And there's really this is just a very low level organization here in Brazil. If you want good fighters in Brazil, they're going to be in LFA, they're going to be in Jungle Faichi, they're going to be in Combate. A lot of times has really good South American fighters and Central American fighters. So, and then there's one other one. Oh, Shutu in Brazil is very good one too. So yeah, that's where you're going to usually find the good fighters, but we don't know anything about Sircar. Just that there's no tape on this guy anywhere. So it's hard to know what he's going to offer at this level, because all we've seen him do in the UFC is just go out there and get his ass shaved. So it's kind of hard to know. Julius should be able to run through this guy, because you know he skipped the line. He didn't deserve to be here in the first place. You know, he's a fraud. He's a fugazi. He has a padded record against nobodies in a promotion that's built by the gym that he trains at to pad these guys' records. So Julius Walker does not have a padded record. Julius Walker fought tough guys on the regional scene. Even though he only has 7 professional fights, he had 10 amateur fights before that. He took some losses. He learned some lessons. And you look at the names that he's fighting before he got here, like Niall Bartling, Bavon Lewis, Myron Dennis. I mean, like all those guys would beat anybody that Sircar has beaten on the regional scene. So, and then he came in and he fought Alonzo Menafield in his debut, took the fight to the full 3 rounds. That fight was a split decision. It was a very close fight. You know, it could have been called for Walker. It could have been called for Menafield. So you have to go with Walker here, because there's no evidence to suggest that any part of Rafael Sircar's MMA skill set is UFC level. But at the same time, we have no idea, because we've just seen him go out there and get iced in like 90 seconds total. I think he spent 3 minutes total in the UFC octagon. So, yeah, this is a complete stay away from me from a gambling perspective. And I would just be careful, you know, betting unders here, betting, you know, inside the distance props. Be very careful. You don't know how long it's going to take Julius Walker to finish this guy. So that's what I think about that fight. It's not a good fight to gamble on, in my opinion. We got Eric Anders might be retiring after this fight. This is the last fight on his contract. He's a plus 360 underdog. Christian Leroy Duncan around minus 460. Fight doesn't go to decision here. Plus money for a middleweight fight at plus 130. So, yeah, I think Duncan's going to get a KO here. Eric Anders has a path to victory here. And what that is to really make this fight happen in a phone booth, to clinch up, to look for takedowns, to look to consolidate top position, land ground and pound, advance maybe to Duncan's back when he tries to get up. See if you can lock up a choke. See if you can make this dude grapple, because right now Eric is 38 and Christian is 30. You know, so these guys have, you know, there's a big age difference between these guys. There's a big career trajectory difference between these guys. But I think it's important to note that if Christian Leroy Duncan beat Eric Anders, that would be by far the best win of his professional career. So you're paying minus 460 for a guy, you know, that this would be the best win that he has ever gotten. I mean, like, Eric Anders runs through anybody that Christian Leroy Duncan is beaten at this level. So I think it's a very tricky fight, because Eric can make this a very difficult fight for Christian Leroy Duncan. The reason I'm picking Duncan, though, is I think that he can match Eric Anders in the clinch and maybe even really hurt him while there. The thing about Anders is that he's been one of the most durable fighters, and he's got a ton of heart. But the durability looks to be waning at this point. And I mean, like, look at the size of his neck in that picture. So that's why this man doesn't get knocked out. That dude's neck is absolutely massive. So, but Christian Leroy Duncan is the guy who can kind of hurt you, drop you, and then he's going to swarm. And he's got good finishing instincts when he has somebody hurt. And Anders just isn't reacting well to shots lately. Pickett dropped him, Barrio dropped him, Weidman dropped him. And I think that, obviously Christian Leroy Duncan is a lot more dynamic and explosive than any of those guys. So I think that this is going to be the first time that we see Eryk Anders, or the second time actually, that we would see him get knocked out at the UFC level. I'm thinking Christian Leroy Duncan's going to find something big in close, whether it be just catching something with Anders with something while he's walking in, or catching him with a big elbow or a knee in the clinch. But I think it's going to be Christian Leroy Duncan by second round knockout. The next fight that we're going to talk about, Miles Johns versus Gene Matsumoto. Matsumoto is a minus 300-ish favorite, maybe even a little bit less than that right now. Miles Chapo Johns here about a plus 240, 260 underdog. So it's an interesting fight because this fight comes down to pace, right? Miles Johns fights at a very slow pace, but he's very good fighting at that pace. I call it being in the Johns verse. And being in the Johns verse means that you're kind of waiting for this guy to counter. It's slowing down your output. And if Miles Johns is a better grappler than you, he's going to try to mix in the takedowns. And if Miles Johns is not the better grappler than you, he's going to use his high percentage takedown defense to use that counter grappling to tire you out and land big shots off of your failed takedown attempts. So, but the important thing is like, in order to let Johns fight at that pace, you have to be willing to not force him to fight. You have to be willing to take some of his big shots in order to make Miles Johns fight at a pace that he's not comfortable fighting at. And we saw that happen in the John Castaneda fight. Castaneda at some point figured out that this guy wasn't going to hurt him, and he started walking him down. And when he got Miles Johns on that back foot, then the wrestling wasn't working for him, because it's hard to shoot takedowns when you're moving back. And it's also hard to land with power when you're moving backwards. And once he got Miles Johns on that back foot, he eventually broke him with strikes and then finished him with an arm triangle. And we've also seen Miles Johns get knocked out by Mario Batista, not known for being a knockout artist. Let's be frank here. So I feel like if you let Johns control the pace and location of the fight, and you don't pressure him, and you don't force him to go first, and you force him to go first by putting him on his back foot and scaring him, that's when Johns wins decisions, because he's going to be controlling the pace of the fight. He lands with power, and he never lets you get anything off for free. When you throw, he throws. So he's always going to counter you, and he's always going to be trying to hit you harder than you hit him. But his punches are extremely loopy. They're coming from wide angles, and he's not very technical and down the middle. Matsumoto's very durable. So I feel like Matsumoto, with his high volume striking attack, with his pressure forward style, and with his ability to be able to mix in the wrestling, I think that he can force Miles Johns to fight at a pace that he's not comfortable with. And if he does that, I think he's going to win this fight. How is he going to win it? It could be a knockout. I think he could hurt this dude to the legs. I think he could hurt this dude to the head. I think he could find a submission. If he puts Johns on the back foot and he starts panic wrestling, I think he can wind up in Matsumoto's guillotine and he could find a submission. And I also think that Matsumoto, if he's pressuring forward, that he's going to be landing the more volume. And I think optically the pressure is going to look very good to the judges. And I think eventually he's going to get Johns to a place where he gets tired. And if he gets Johns tired, I think he could finish him or just, dominantly win the second and third rounds. So I think it could be a decision, or I think it could be a finish. But I do have a 1-unit bet on Matsumoto to win inside the distance, because the pricing of the decision prop is extremely overpriced. And it's far too overpriced. I'll show you my betting model here for this one. So you can see here the Matsumoto decision at minus 130. There's red here, there's red here, and there's red here. Matsumoto's got one of his 2 wins is by decision, but only one of 3 losses in 3-round fights for Miles Johns comes by decision. He's been finished in 2 of his 3 losses, and not by guys that are known to be big finishers at this level in Mario Batista and John Castaneda. So to get a 73% implied probability at minus 270 for Matsumoto to win, and then to get his inside the distance prop at 25% or plus 300, that's a massive trifecta bet here. It's underpriced according to all 3 metric comparisons that I make. And that is something that I just was not willing to pass up. If the guy has been finished in more losses than he's been lost by decision, and I think that Matsumoto's pace, I think that his submission game is very dangerous, and this guy can hurt your calves. And once your calves go, you're live to get finished in a number of different ways once your legs fail you. So I think that Matsumoto is very live to find a finish here. Plus 300 for Matsumoto inside the distance is so much better of a bet, in my opinion, than the decision prop at minus 130, because I think he's just as live to find a finish against Miles Johns if he controls the pace of this fight as he is to win by decision. So the pick, though, was the official pick for the fight was just Matsumoto to win by decision, but the bet is Matsumoto inside the distance. The next fight, Andre Fili going up against Christian Rodriguez. So I'm picking Christian Rodriguez to win this fight by submission, but I do believe that at the number, Andre Fili is a plus 200 underdog is very compelling at that number. That's giving him a 33% chance to win the fight. It's giving Rodriguez a 67% chance to win the fight if you just base it off of Fili's win percentage based on that money line. So I think it's too wide. But Andre Fili's last performance, it has set it up to that now Andre Fili is as big of an underdog as we've ever seen him in the UFC. I think it's very important to note that Andre Fili has 24 UFC fights. And on my probability stats and content package, something I do here is I have their stats for every fight that they've ever had in the UFC here. And all the way over to the right, you can find the win-loss records of the fighters that they faced. And then you can look at the line that they had, right? Andre Fili has never been a plus 200 underdog ever in 24 UFC fights. And now all of a sudden, he's a plus 200 underdog against a bantamweight whose best quality is his counter grappling. So I think it's a very interesting fight. Now, what I really did like about Christian Rodriguez in that last fight against Mel Costa was the clinch game. His clinch game looked great because not only was he kind of bullying Costa there and not allowing Costa to use the height and reach advantages and the better long-range weapons that he has at distance striking range, but he was also getting takedowns with foot sweeps from the clinch. And when Christian Rodriguez does that, he's giving you an opportunity to get back up. When you take that opportunity to get back to your feet and your chin comes up as you stand up, that's when he starts to latch onto your neck. And Christian Rodriguez is very tricky with his front choke series. So you look at a guy like Andre Fili, who's been subbed 3 times at the UFC level in 11 losses. He's also been knocked out 3 times. I think that, and especially after the last fight against Costa, I think that Christian Rodriguez by submission is how I think he finishes this fight. And that's my pick, Rodriguez by submission round 2. But here's my worry, right? If Christian Rodriguez is not able to dominate Fili in the clinch, if Christian Rodriguez's forward pressure, which I expect him to be the one pressuring forward to close the distance against these taller, longer featherweights, I think that we're going to consistently see Christian Rodriguez forced to pressure in these fights. Go back and watch that Erosa fight. He was backing up Erosa at the beginning, but I heard Erosa's coach on, don't let him back you up. You cannot let this dude back you up. All of a sudden, Erosa wasn't backing up. He was just circling, and he was throwing. Every time Christian was throwing, he was returning in combination, and he was cracking Christian. So I think Christian's going to be live to lock up a submission here, especially early while both guys are dry and fresh. But I also think Andre Fili is going to be live to knock this dude out. I also think that Andre Fili might be able to win some minutes in the clinch here against Rodriguez. So if Rodriguez is not able to control those clinch exchanges and get there, I think Andre Fili looks way better than plus 200. So it's one of the most fascinating fights on the card for me, because I think Christian Rodriguez by submission at plus 500 is a great bet. I bet that myself. I have a half unit on Rodriguez to win by submission. But I also think the Andre Fili money line is a good look at plus 200. And something else that my betting model really likes here for this fight, if you look at the over-under bets, my model just thinks the unders are way underpriced here. We got two fat trifecta bets here for fight doesn't start round 2 at plus 460 and the under 1.5 rounds at plus 290. 10 of Andre Fili's 24 UFC fights, so almost half of 24, have finished under 1.5 rounds. And for Christian Rodriguez, both of his fights that have finished inside the distance, they both finished in round 1. So I think that if we're going to find an under here, you want to find that under that's earlier in the fight. Plus 290 for the under 1.5 rounds is a great bet. And I think you can actually find that at plus 300 on DraftKings. So under 1.5 rounds, I like. Fili money line, I like. Christian Rodriguez by submission, I like. I think there's a lot of different ways to play this fight. And, depending on what your stylistic read is, I think that's where the value is. So that's what I'm looking at for this fight. The official pick, though, is going to be Christian Rodriguez by second round submission. The next fight, Yasmin Lucindo at minus 200 going up against Angela Hill plus 170. Fight doesn't go to decision at plus 400. I've said it a number of times on this fight that black don't crack, and Angela Hill is one of the best examples of that. Next week, we'll be seeing Jared Cannonier. That's another, older black gentleman, but the black don't crack, and he's still performing at a very high level at this age. But god damn, dude, Yasmin Lucindo is 17 years younger. She could be Angela Hill's daughter for all we know. I mean, like if Angela Hill went to Brazil when she was 16 and came back pregnant, it might be her. So that's how big the age difference is between Angela Hill and Yasmin Lucindo. So it's really, really, really hard to back the older fighter there. Now, stylistically, how does this fight play out? Who's the better striker? Who's better in the clinch? Who's the better wrestler? Who's more likely to wind up on top? I think that Yasmin, while Angie Hill, according to my stats, Angela Hill has done a really good job of winning minutes in the clinch. She's landed 491 clinch strikes and absorbed 276 over her UFC fights. And she's only been outstruck slightly on the ground, even though she's given up a lot of ground minutes. But Yasmin Lucindo just kind of average in the clinch. But the thing was, when she fought another really good clinch fighter and Marina Rodriguez, it was when Rodriguez started to unload with her offense in the clinch that Yasmin Lucindo found the takedowns from there. So while I think Angela Hill is the better clinch striker, I think Yasmin Lucindo is going to be more likely to find some of those takedowns from the clinch. But Angie Hill's got good judo too, so I think she might be able to find some of it. So when we look at the distance striking numbers for these two ladies, Angie lands more. She throws more. She lands at a higher percentage. She's got but Yasmin's got good defense. It's sitting at about 68% at distance striking range. And she's got a positive 0.4 distance striking differential, while for Hill, it's about 0.0. So I think maybe Yasmin's a little bit better defensively. She's got a 2-inch reach advantage, but Angie throws more. She's definitely got a pretty good strength to schedule advantage. But the thing is, when you look at those last 3 fights for Yasmin, these are, Lemos, Rodriguez, Kovalkiewicz. I don't think that this is like a true prospect versus aging veteran. I think that this is just two ladies who are in a similar part. They're similarly ranked in the division, and one of them 17 years younger than the other. Now, don't kid yourself. Angela Hill has been fighting well against young fighters. She just beat Denise Gomez 4 fights ago. Denise Gomez is probably about 23, 24 years old when she fought her. Luana Pinheiro is much younger than her. Tabitha Ricci's a young fighter. Ketlin Sosa is a fairly young fighter. So she's been fighting young fighters, but I just think that the 17 years, it's just too much to overcome. And I think that Angela Hill will make a lot more money if she wins than Yasmin Lucindo would. So something tells me that, if this is a close decision, it's going to be Yasmin getting the nod. It'll be a business decision. So I'm going with Yasmin Lucindo by decision here, but this isn't a fight I have any action on. And I think it's just that 17-year age gap that spooks me out of trying that plus money side on Angela Hill, because I think these ladies are much more well matched with their in the octagon skills than the minus 200 for Lucindo indicates and the plus 170 for Hill indicates. That's my thoughts on that fight. We've got Steve Ersk against Ode Osborne. Ersk minus 600. Ode Osborne plus 425. Man, it's a wide line. And the fight doesn't go to decision. A very wide line there for a men's flyweight fight at minus 210. Yeah, Steve Ersk. If it were John Houseman, he would say Steve Ersk. But we're going to say it my way, Ersk. It's a lot less annoying than saying it in John Houseman voice. But shout out John Houseman. Great actor. This is going to be... I might have to take a little bit of a shot on Ode Osborne here, because what I think needs to happen is I think that Steve Ersk needs to grapple, right? Ode Osborne has big power on the feet. And if you just stand at distance striking range with this guy, you're really going to give him his best chance to win the fight. Ode Osborne's ground game is so bad. I mean, you watch all the fights that he's losing. Ronaldo Rodriguez beat him because he out-scrambled him in the third round and because he out-grappled him in the second. Obviously, Filio takes him down and insta-subs him. Suama Bayev subs him in the second round. We've just seen Brian Kelleher submits him, up at 135 much earlier in his UFC career. And Ode Osborne's been knocked out a couple of times as well. But the thing about Ode is that if you stand with him, you might be able to knock him out. He could definitely knock you out. But if you get takedowns against this guy, you're going to look minus 500, and he's going to look like a massive underdog. So if Steve Ersk fights smart here, he's going to make this dude grapple. You can get takedowns against Ode. Once you get Ode to the mat, you can keep him there. And once he's on that mat and you're keeping him there, you got a chance to either score points or potentially finish the fight with a submission. Now, Ersk has been knocked out violently 2 fights ago. He's on a 3-fight losing streak here. So he came in, he won 3 in a row. Now he's lost 3 in a row. And we just had Ode Osborne playing spoiler in his last fight. And he's a plus 425 underdog. He beat a young up-and-coming fighter with a pretty good reputation in Luis Gurule. And Gurule won round 1 with his grappling, right? And then he got knocked out in the second round. So he's, Ersk's got to be careful here, man. He's got to be careful how he engages with Ode Osborne at distance striking range. And he's got to figure out how he wants to set up those takedown entries, because seeing Ersk get hit as often as he does, even back on the regional scene, you'd see him absorbing big shots. And I remember saying when he got here, this kid's got a chin. Well, you don't know that he's got a chin unless he's getting cracked on the regular. And so now that he's been knocked out, now that Kai Kara-France, cracked that chin, I worry about laying this kind of juice, minus 600 for Ersk. This is a guy that's on a 3-fight losing streak. And you just had Ode Osborne cash as a sizable underdog against Luis Gurule last time out. And now they're making him an even bigger underdog here against a guy that's on a 3-fight losing streak. So these are the great things about MMA. This is the volatility and the short-term recency bias, especially this time of year in the summer when there's no basketball, there's no football, there's no hockey. It's just baseball and MMA in these couple of months. And because of that, we get very juiced lines. The amateur bettors come in here and they've put together 4 or 5 leg parlays of all the big favorites, and they get pushed too far. Ode Osborne is going to look a lot better than plus 425 here. And if Steve Ersk fights dumb, or if Steve Ersk's wrestling doesn't work out for him, I think Ode Osborne is super live at plus 425. But if Ersk fights smart, I think he gets to this dude's back and he finishes him with a submission. So the official pick is Ersk submission round 2 because he is a much better grappler. He does have some really good wins on his resume, but he's still got a lot to prove, man. The wins over Schnell, Costa, and Dvorak, and the losses to Moreno, Pantoja, and Kai Kara France, there's a big gap between the best guy that he's beat and the worst guy that he's lost to. There's a lot of flyweights in that gap, and we don't know how Ersk is going to be performing against those level of flyweights. I think Ode Osborne kind of fits in with the guys that he's beaten already, but those fights were close, you guys. The Costa fight was a 29-28. The other one, the Dvorak fight, was a 29-28. He cleanly lost that first round. So I think Ersk has a lot to prove here. Minus 600 is crazy. And I think that if he's going to look minus 600, it means he's going to get a sub. So I like Steve Ersk by sub this week. You can get that line at plus 165 on Bet Rivers. And I think it's a very bettable line. And I think it's the best way to play Steve Ersk where he winds up looking minus 600. Main event of the evening. A lot of you guys know me. You know that Anthony Hernandez is my favorite fighter. I love fighters that fight with pace, pressure, durability, output, and endless cardio. And Anthony Hernandez is one of those guys. I'm picking Roman Dolidze to win this fight. Roman Dolidze's jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. And a lot of people don't realize how good it is because Roman doesn't really look to be the one to wrestle and create that and use that wrestling to create opportunities to use his BJJ. His BJJ is actually a lot better when you're taking him down. Look at the Phil Hawes fight and look at the Jack Hermanson fight. Look at what happened to Phil Hawes and Jack Hermanson when they tried to take Dolidze down. They're either immediately getting swept or they're getting put into submission attempt after submission attempt after submission attempt and either getting their knee torn in half or getting put in a calf slicer and pounded out. So Roman Dolidze is a very, very, very dangerous grappler. And Anthony Hernandez, in order to look like a massive favorite, needs to wrestle and get top time. I've seen Hernandez just get so sloppy in those positions against Brendan Allen. He's getting reversed by Josh Fremd. He's getting taken down and getting his back taken immediately by Rodolfo Vieira. He does get put in a lot of bad spots. And I think that if he does that against Roman Dolidze, he's going to be, and the thing about Dolidze's leg locks is he usually doesn't go for them first. When you watch the Hawes fight, he's in a guillotine first. Once Hawes starts to jump over to pass guard to go to the guillotine, he leaves his arm out there, and then Dolidze goes for the arm bar. Now, when Hawes is in the arm bar, he tries to posture up, and in order to do that, he needs to bring his legs close to Dolidze, and you can tell Dolidze is just kind of hanging onto the arm bar, waiting for Hawes to posture up so that he can bring that leg in. Then he's in the heel hook. Then he's in the leg lock. And I don't even know what that was. It was like the foot was kind of underneath the armpit, but the leg was in a weird spot. I don't know what that was, but he popped his leg right out. And it wasn't because he went for a fucking leg lock. It was because he went for a guillotine. And then the guillotine turned into an arm bar, and then the arm bar turned into the leg lock. So Hernandez is going to have a very difficult time pressuring Dolidze, getting him up against the fence, because I think he needs the cage grapple. I don't think he wants to take this dude down in the center of the cage. And I think Roman knows that, because I think if these guys open mat grapple, Hernandez is going to be, defending subs, and he's going to be put on his back. And when you put Hernandez on his back, he can be kept there. We saw it happen in the Fremd fight. We saw it happen in the Brendan Allen fight a couple of different times. And Brendan made some bad decisions that I don't think Roman Dolidze is going to make. So I think that if Dolidze does get a win here, he's going to have to find an early finish. And I think it's absolutely live. He could get ground and pound against Hernandez. He could find a submission. But Roman Dolidze at plus 270 is far too compelling here because he's better in the clinch. He's got more power at distance striking range. And I believe that he's the better submission grappler here. So if you're giving me that guy at plus 270, and then you're going to, Hernandez is going to be putting himself into several bad spots. Look at how many guillotines this dude's found himself in over the years, against not nearly as good a grapplers as Roman Dolidze. He's in a tight one against Shabazian. He's in a tight one against Pereira. And a lot of guys, this guy's given up his neck, and he's using it then to get in the top position. Then he gets out of the guillotine. Now he's got you where he wants you, and he starts unloading with the ground and pound. Dolidze is going to turn that guillotine into a finish or into another submission that he's going to potentially finish. So I had to take the shot here. And the upside is, if I lose my bet, my favorite fighter wins. He's still my favorite fighter. I love watching Anthony Hernandez fight. But you know what I like more than Anthony Hernandez? Money, moolah. And if you're giving me plus 270, I'm putting 1.5 units on it. Roman Dolidze to win by second round ground and pound knockout is going to be the pick for this fight. I think it's going to be a hell of a main event. And I think it's by far the most compelling fight on the card. And I can't wait for this one. So 2 more orders of business here. We're going to give you the dog pick of the week, the ass shaving of the week, and then the greasy 4-leg parlay to follow. So the Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week this week. And I'm picking Stoliorenko to win by first round submission, and I have a bet on her. I think that the Andre Feely money line at plus 200 is worth a play this week, but I am picking Roman Dolidze to win. And I think that he's got multiple paths to victory in a main event. These guys have got a similar strength to schedule. Dolidze's got a power advantage, a clinch advantage, a submission grappling advantage. And I think that, and he's also been the more active fighter. He's been fighting more often than Hernandez has. So the dog pick of the week this week is going to be the Roman Dolidze money line. And then the ass shaving of the week this week, you guys, it's a tough one because there's no bettable money lines here. Every favorite that's probably going to run through their favorite or run through their opponent is like minus 400 or minus 500 or minus 600 or minus 700. So it's a really difficult week to have an ass shaving of the week. So instead of, because I try to be as price conscious as I can so that people can bet it, but in this case, I can't be price conscious. I just have to say who I think is going to knock somebody out and knock them out violently. Gilbert Urbina only shows up to fight once every 18 months or so. And Uros Medic has serious fucking power. And Gilbert Urbina has some of the worst distance striking defense I've ever seen. I think that Uros is going to probably stuff the takedowns like he did in the Tim Means fight. And then I think he's going to find a knockout somewhere, somehow. Uppercut, overhand, straight left. There's a number of different things. Uros can hit you with those kicks too. So I think there's a number of different ways that he could hurt you, but I think he's going to get him out of there quick, shave his ass, good and clean. Uros Medic to shave the ass of Gilbert Urbina. So we did it, you guys. We have just now got to do a greasy 4-leg parlay here to put together to try to win, get you a nice plus money win here. And we're going to put it together on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. Leg number 1, let's go with Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week to shave some ass. Let's go with Uros the Dr. Medic to make Gilbert Urbina need a nurse. And we're going to go with the minus 200 KO prop that's available on Bet Rivers. That's going to be leg 1. Hey, it's Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. How's he going to shave his ass? Probably with a knockout. So it's going to be Uros Medic KO minus 200. Leg number 2 is going to be the Elijah Smith KO prop at minus 200. When the props are kind of hold your nose and bet them, I don't want to lay minus 200 on a KO prop, but Toshiomi Kazama's been knocked out 4 times as a professional. This guy's getting knocked out on the Asian regional scene, so that is a very bad thing. And, I think Elijah's got the necessary wrestling to keep this at distance striking range. And if he does, you saw Garrett Armfield dropping this dude with a jab. You saw him getting iced by Nakamura. Just absolutely. He got dropped 3 times in that fight. I think Elijah's too fast for him, too powerful for him, and too good of a wrestler to get kind of caught up in Kazama's grappling game here. So I think he's going to knock him out. So Elijah Smith to knock out Toshiomi Kazama, minus 200, brings this 2-leg parlay up to plus 125. And I know what you're saying. You're like, Weezy, plus 125. My kids are in college. I need fucking money. So we got to find a plus money leg here, something that we think is going to hit. And I gave you a pretty good case for John Houseman's favorite fighter, Steve Ersk, to win by submission. That's a plus 165 line. And like I say, if this guy's minus 600, right, to win, they're telling you at minus 600. Sorry, this is the betting template we want to look at. At minus 600, that is an 86%. They're telling you he wins this fight 86 out of 100 times, right? So only 14 times out of 100 is Ode Osborne going to win this fight at these prices. But Ode Osborne has been submitted 3 times in his 6 UFC losses. And Ersk does have some power. He slept Matt Schnell, but I think Osborne's got a better chin than Schnell does. So I think that if Ersk wants to fight smart and look minus 600, he has to take down Ode and try to get his back and submit him. So we're going to fatten up this parlay by putting this number in here where we're getting a minus 600 favorite to win by his best win condition at plus 165. Brings this 3-leg parlay up to plus 496. And then my read for the main event is that somebody's going to get served, because if Roman's unable to get Hernandez out of there and Hernandez starts cooking, like round 3, round 4, you know, Dolidze has never went to the late rounds with guys that push a pace like Hernandez. He's went to decision with a bunch of guys like Vettori a couple of times. Vettori just doesn't do anything. You know, guys like John Alon and Trevin Giles, and these guys fight at a snail's pace. I think that, you know, in order to win this fight, Dolidze's got to go out there, and he knows that nobody wants to go 5 rounds. Like, if you wanted to stop like murder in this country, you just tell people, hey man, you kill somebody, you're going to be fighting Anthony Hernandez for 5 rounds. And we're not going to really have a ref in there helping you at all. There'll be a ref in there to make sure that you don't die once he puts you in the rear naked choke, but we're not going to have him choke you out. He's just going to beat the fuck out of you for 5 rounds. That could solve a lot of problems in this country. I mean, do I want to run for president? Yes, of course I do. But do I deserve that kind of power? Of course I do. Yes. But is it a good idea to give me that kind of power? Absolutely not. So we're not going to let me make those decisions, but I think that somebody's going to get a finish here, because I just don't see Roman Dolidze fighting at Anthony Hernandez's pace for 5 rounds. And it's going to be very difficult to control the pace of the fight against somebody like Hernandez, but I think he's going to get the grappling exchanges that he wants early, and I think that he can find finishes in those exchanges. So I'm thinking fight doesn't go to decision for Dolidze versus Hernandez, because I think somebody's going to find a finish here, and that is minus 225. That gives us a pretty good hedge out as well on leg 4. If we want to just lock in some profits, we can take fight goes at plus 160, or maybe at a better price on another site. So yeah, that comes out to plus 765 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. Let's cash this thing, you guys. UFC Vegas 109. I'm on a little bit of a losing streak here, so I need to bounce back in a big way. I like my reads this week. I'm going to be loading up with some more bets and sending them out to my odds shopper community late night tonight. And if you want to be a part of that community, look in the description of the video. There's a link there to my $25 a month probability, stats, and content package. It gives you access to my in-depth fight write-ups for every fight on the card. It gives you all my bet write-ups that I do here, all my tracked bets. I give you a full write-up on the tracked bets, and then a link to the fight write-up for the fight. It gives you access to this stat sheet for the over-under betting model, the prop betting model, the side-by-side stats in every possible statistic that you can imagine, the individual fighter stats, all the DraftKings, FanDuel, Prize Picks, and Underdog. The Prize Picks row is empty, and that's because Underdog and Prize Picks now have the same scoring system. So Underdog, Prize Picks, the same. You get all those numbers as well. A number of different ways to get an edge on the bookies with all the information that I give you access to for that $25 a month. So come along. Come on. Huh? Join your Uncle Weezy. $25 a month. You're going to get access to the Discord, the track bets, the fight write-ups, the stat sheets, and the 4+ hours of subscriber-only content that you guys don't see every week. I've already done 4.5 hours worth of content that you guys haven't seen this week. It's for my Odds Shopper people only. So if you want to be a part of that, check it out. Join me. Come on with. Let's see here. What the fuck happened? Did somebody give me $500? Oh my God. Who is Moo? What? Ring a ding ding, $500 from Moo. I've never seen Moo in here before. Cheers to you, Moo. And oh my God, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for the biggest donation I think I've ever gotten on a show before. Oh my God, $500. I'm glad I went live tonight. I wasn't even going to do it. I was so tired. So Moo, thank you. Ring a ding ding. Thank you for the extremely, extremely kind donation to the cause here on your Uncle Weezy's YouTube channel. It means a lot, man. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you, my man. Trust me, that's the biggest donation I've ever got in a very, very long time. And now we're starting back at the beginning. And we're going to be my guy Daz Files, one of the first people to ever watch my content ever, saying, yeah, Arvo show, LOLs for me. What is up, Daz? Good to see you in here. That's Daz with all of his fingers. I hope your finger's doing good, dude. I know you fucked it up badly, and I hope it's healing, and I hope that your life with the healing finger is going well for you, my man. We got my guy Barry McCockiner in the house saying, I was going to hit the strip club, but I'd much rather watch Uncle Weezy. Pause. It's a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper. I'm not as good looking, but I'm telling you, it's the price difference is massive. And I think you made the right choice, Barry McCockiner. We got Olajuwon Dream saying, oi, yes. What's up, Olajuwon? Good to see you hanging out in here. We got MB in the room saying, we've been waiting for this moment all day. Give me your thoughts and opinions on this wonderful card. You already got him, MB. Appreciate you for checking in. We got Gonzalo Jimenez in the room saying, Weezy, too late in my country. I'm sorry, dude. I know you're overseas and wait. You're down south. You're like in Argentina, and you're probably a little bit east of me, and it is too late. So appreciate you for checking in, then, man. We got Tiziano Sicilia. Yes, 2 a.m. in Argentina. A little too late. I'm sorry, man, but I had to kind of take some time to myself tonight and relax. Watched a movie with my girlfriend. And I'm going to get a good night's sleep tonight. I'm very tired right now. We got Jaquan White in the room, and he is saying, oh, I really like the early shows. We appreciate you, Weezy. I don't know why it's not all right there. Now it's showing it. Appreciate you, Jaquan. Thank you for checking in, my man. We got Jake saying, oi, Uncle Weezy, love an extra late show. Well, thank you for checking in. We got Chris saying, oi, Unc, MMA fam. What's up, Chris? Good to see you hanging out in here. Is one of the guys that has been in here with the longest with me. I remember him watching one of my first few shows on YouTube. Daz Files saying, Chris, hey, bro, bust with the medical, I presume. Long time no see. Yeah, dude, for sure. Busy with the medical. And he's saying, lost a fingertip, can't type, best of times, but without fingertip, more mistakes than ever. That is how it works, dude. You should see how many I have all my fingers, and I suck at typing. And I mean, like, they work. Like, I don't have arthritis. I don't have carpal tunnel. I don't have any of that shit. But I can't type for shit, dude. Like, I sit there with the 2 fingers. And everything that I do, like, all of this is typed, with me going like this. I mean, like, I type all of this like this. It's disgusting how long this takes me to do. Absolutely disgusting. And I refuse to learn how to fucking type properly, because that's what heroes do. Appreciate you, Daz Files. Thanks for being here. My guy Exclusive Oro's in the room, and he's saying, oi, yes, finally on time for one of these. And I must say, what a sketchy card for me to bet. You've got John Matsumoto, you've got Julius Juicebox Walker, and you got the over 1.5 for Hill and Anders. Am I cooking? I think Matsumoto wins. I definitely think Julius Walker wins. And yeah, the over 1.5 for Hill. I like that. That should hit. And the over 1.5 for Anders, I like that as well, actually. That's not a bad parlay leg. I think, but you know what? I think that's juice to the tits. That's right, because they got that thing going to decision more times than, I think it's minus 150 for it to go to decision. So the over 1.5 is probably juiced, but I think it hits, my man. I think you're going to cook on that one. Dad's saying C-Rod sub is plus 500. Seems wide if anyone cares for some C-Rod action. Yeah, that is wide. I bet it myself, man. I've got a half unit on that. I think that he's going to be looking for those submissions. I think that's how he wants to win at 145. Joseph Gasparian in the room saying, especially when you consider Philly basically threw himself into the sub against Melk. Yep. Looked suspect as fuck. That's what a lot of people are saying. Dazfowl is saying, yeah, these guys are just turning up for a paycheck. Happy to be subbed as an honorable way out without facial injuries. That is very true. My guy, the Cuban assassin in the room saying, what it do, Weezy? I heard Brady singing that zombie song. We need to get him a Bruce Buffer sport coat so he'll be able to perform at the Excalibur nightclub in Chicago with Peter Cetera. That would be pretty good, dude. Excalibur is one of the oldest clubs in Chicago. Like, that was like the hottest club when I was a kid. Everybody would go to Excalibur. Where is it? It's downtown Chicago. I don't even remember what street it's on, but it's like right somewhere between Ohio and Ontario, right there. Yeah, the dome room's attached to it. I mean, just, God, yeah, Excalibur. That would be pretty cool, man. It's been a minute since I've been there, dude. Looked sort of fixed. Suspect as fuck. He was doing fine in the stand-up exchanges. Why shoot? Put yourself in that position. Yeah, it was odd. It was definitely odd, you know, because he didn't wind up in the guillotine because of the takedown. Melky put him in that guillotine with his shoulders flat on the mat. So it was a bizarre one. Philly's what, 35? Yeah, 35. Why not cash out on the way out? Yeah, I hear you, man. Only makes sense. Brady got signed. He's doing residency in Vegas now. Well, I think he'll make a lot of money. He's got a voice of an angel. Let's see. Dazfowl saying Brady on the soundtrack for 28 years later, too. He's made the big time. I didn't know he was on that. That's good for him, dude. Like, yeah, I mean, like, Stack Diggers is just launching both of our careers, you know. We got Weezy. Why is Brundage not minus 300 against this guy? I don't know, dude. You know, to be honest with you, Brandon, I did not break that. I didn't research the fight. It's when they add a fight on fight week, I want nothing to do with it as a gambler. And I kind of just, because I'm already kind of planned my week, to add another, you know, like watching tape for an hour and a half, typing all this out, you know, doing the stats for it. I elected to pass. Because he's Cody Brundage, you're getting the Cody Brundage discount. That's true, man. We got Joe saying there's a good chance he knocks himself out headbutting the cage. It could happen, dude. Like those cages are reinforced. You headbutt that cage, you might go down. You know, has anyone seen Jason Herzog? Dude, he was cage side for UFC Vegas 108. He was the replay official. So yeah, he was there, and he'll probably be there this week. We got my guy Martin Durmov in the room. Bulgaria, stand up. He's saying, "Oi, what is up, Martin? Always good to see you in here, brother." We got Daz is saying he's betting Mechanico. He does okay against coconut bombs and probably has the better cardio on short notice. It could be, man. Like I said, I've got nothing on that fight. Joseph Kasparian saying apparently Herzog is okay. They gave him a slap on the wrist. Yep, I know. And it's because somebody very important probably told him to do that. Oi, your boy, says Roger Pace Afflicted. Mechanico looked horrible, bro. That is for sure. I love the intro as well. My guy Matt, shout out Matt from the Golden Octagon YouTube channel, made that for me. Truly appreciate it. We got Joe saying, and I watched a few of his regional fights. Guy was getting wobbled by regional bums. Yeah. We got Buster Cherry in the room saying, "Oh, what is up, Buster?" We got Joe saying, "I know it's Brundage, but this guy isn't UFC level." I'm not sure that he is. Yeah, I'm not sure that he is. I think Brundage wins. I think Cody beats him. Greasy Nightcap, love it. Yes, damn right, my man. Joe saying, outside of some freak injury, he should smoke him. We got Low Titty City Ortega saying, "What the fuck? It's 1 a.m. Weezy." I know, dude. I know. I was after I finish probability this afternoon, I do like a 2-hour prop show where we go through all the betting models for the over-unders and the prop bets. And we look at the stylistic reads for the fights, how we see things playing out. We find the best plus EV bets of the week. And that show takes me about 2 hours to do. And I was tired, so I would have went live at like 10 my time, 11 your time. But I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So I was like, all right, I'll set it up for midnight. I'm going to relax for a while, take my mind off of everything, and then I'll do it. So yeah, I know it's late. It's late, man. A late night with Uncle Weezy, says Christian. What's up, Christian? We got Joe saying Weezy digging the sweater. Yeah, man, this is we got the air conditioning cranking here, which is the way that I like it. So it gets a little bit cool, and I like to put on this dope ass sweater here to keep warm and have that air conditioning cranking. Oi, fuck it, we ball, says my guy Low T. He's saying and ring a ding ding. My guy Daz File saying towards a new netty for your Xmas live DJ MMA party on YouTube. Intro track hits hard. Yeah, man, we're gonna have to do it. Maybe we'll do something. Maybe we'll come back here and do a live DJ set with me and Avery and Brady. Brady will get on the vocals for us and sing some house tracks, some classics that I got right back here. After the UFC Chicago card, because Brady and Avery are going to be here in Chicago with me. And yeah, we're going to be wasted when we come back from the fight. So it'll be fun. Maybe we'll do that. Thank you for the donation, Daz Files. Truly appreciate you, my man. And Low T City Ortega, ring a ding ding, saying, do not let Herzog ref Smith for. Oh, yeah, he might get Kazama killed in there. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe he learns. Maybe he doesn't, but I don't think that was his choice. I don't think it was his choice. I think somebody told him to do it, and he was like, oh, fuck, they're going to make me look really bad on this one. You can't predict 7 knockdowns in 6 minutes, man, but that's what happened. We got Red Chimp in the room saying, Unc, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to straight tail your pick for every fight. I could care less to tape about if I don't know them. Overall, had a great last week. Ass shaving came in clutch. Yeah. I mean, like, I was 9-3 on my picks, but I picked the wrong people to bet on. I had a money line bet on Nick Klein. That was one of the 3 picks I got wrong. And I had a big money line bet on Eliza Zaleski dos Santos. That was one of the picks that I got wrong. But Tetsuo Taira was one of the best. That was my first 5-unit bet in a while, and it smashed, and I love that it did, because when you want your most confident picks to hit for you. So I wish you luck this week, dude. This is a greasy week, so be very, very careful. We got Tyreek Will in the house saying, oi, stand up, Tyreek. What's up, man? We got Joe saying Smith, Walker, Duncan, -180. Yeah, not bad. I think it hits. There. We got Red Chimp saying CLD walked his chalk as fuck. You better get odds. Just doing Smith and Gabby -3.5 for both. There you go. Yeah, I think that's pretty good, because I think if Gabby gets out of that first round and she stays safe from the submissions, she's gonna beat the fuck out of Julia. But I don't think she's gonna get out of the first. But if she does, it's gonna look bad. Tone Miggins, my guy in the room. What is up, Tone? Saying Jay Edwards sub. I agree with that. Steve Ersk by sub, and the CLD inside the distance +2905. I love it, man. CLD inside the distance is something I'm looking at playing this week. Steve Ersk by sub is in my take this job and shove it parlay, and the Jocelyn Edwards sub also in my take this job and shove it parlay. So holy shit, did you? No, it's not CLD inside the distance. I've got what is the other one? It's probability show notes. It's Matsumoto inside the distance. So, and I think that might be a sub if he gets it. So yeah, my take this job and shove it is +4,400. But also I wanted to give something to you guys here too. It's not going to be the take this job and shove it parlay, but this one. Now that's the +765 there. That's up on the screen for the Greasy 4-legger. But for a fucking big long shot parlay this week, there's something I really like this week, and I think it's super fucking live, you guys. It's Roman Dolidze by submission at +1,300, along with Julia Stolyarenko to win by first round submission, which is plus 1150. That comes out to 174 to 1. Roman Dolidze by submission, Julia Stolyarenko by first round submission. A $25 wager would win you $4,350. So that's something I'm going to be playing this week. I think that Roman's going to sub. I think he's going to sub him or knock him out. But I think that the sub is probably how he gets Hernandez. And because Hernandez is so tough, I think that he's going to have to, tear his leg in half or put him out of oxygen in order to beat him. And Stolyarenko by submission. That's how she wins fights. Plain and simple. It's either first round submission or it's nothing. So you're giving me a fighter that's plus 300 by her, basically her only win condition, which is a first round sub at 1150. So $25 to win 4,350. Roman Dolidze by submission and Julia Stolyarenko by submission. That is your long shot parlay of the week. Anyway, let's move back to the comments here. We got Joe Gasparian saying I had Gabby. My issue with Gabby is her takedown defense is sus. So if Julia can somehow get a takedown, she might be in trouble. I agree. Bet the house on that fight to end in a draw. Brundage magic works in funny ways. Yeah, it does, man. I think that's a pretty good look, dude. I think that's the way to play it. Play it a draw. John Jones lost his debut. No, he didn't. John Jones never lost. John Jones never lost. He never lost. There's the loss to Matt Hamill, but that's all bullshit, and we know it. Julia has terrible takedowns and rarely ever shoots them to begin with. She's round one armbar versus other grapplers or bust. I think Gabby just straight up KOs her on their debut. Well, Julia got what's her name down in an armbar? Luana Carolina. She took down Chelsea Chandler in round one. She took down Molly McCann in round one and subbed her. She took down Jessica Rose Clark in round one and subbed her. So she's gotten plenty of takedowns in round one. She doesn't always finish with the armbar, but she goes for it. She always goes for it. Cody's hands and cardio both looked excellent against Mansour. Yeah, I mean, he's got good hands, dude. Cody's got good hands. I agree. I have Gabby too, but Sircar isn't a real fighter. Walker walks him, and Anders is so slow outside of one huge haymaker. He has nothing for CLD. Kind of agree. Mr. Wipeout saying, I thought for sure you'd be on the great Eric Mechanico. I'm not on either guy this week, so I'm going to be passing on that fight. We got Benino in the room saying, a little late for me. I'm going to watch tomorrow at work. Have a great day at work tomorrow. Sleep well tonight, my man. I had to get this done today so I could have a day to myself tomorrow. So I'm happy to get this done tonight. Excuse me. 227 live viewers with us tonight. Check that thumbs up if you can for me. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking about this card. We got MB saying I don't really see a lot of finishes on this card, maybe 4. What do I got? I've got 1 finish, 2 finishes, 3 finishes, 4 finishes, 5 finishes, 6 finishes, 7, 8. I got 8 finishes, and I'm not even picking the Brundage Mechanico fight. So I'm seeing a lot of finishes, but it's a wide, a lot of these lines are super wide. Yo, it's the dude who said Krylov would beat Guskov. You still here? Yes, I am. Guskov was an underdog, you idiot. Plus 170. Everybody was saying he was minus 67% implied to win, and he didn't grapple. So yes, I'm still here. I get picks wrong every single week, and I'm still here. Synonymous Clay. We got Joe Kasparian saying Krylov fought retarded, bro. Yeah, I know he did. Nobody thought he would stand there and kickbox with him. It looked like he threw the fight. I mean, that's like tantamount to throwing the fight when you don't wrestle Guskov. It was bizarre. Krylov is probably totally washed. Yeah, he took 2 years off. Serious shoulder injury. Looked terrible versus Reyes, but he didn't. And then he didn't grapple against Guskov. Very, very bizarre. Is juice to the tits the best Weezy catchphrase? I don't know. There's a few of them, man. People like who they love that one. They love juice to the tits. They love a lot of stuff, but I mean, like juice to the tits is just one of those ones. I just love saying it. So it might be 42 Lamont. Thank you for hanging out. Let's stack cash tickets like Flapjack says. Daz Files, that might be it. Medich smokes him, agreed. Edwards' submission is live, in my opinion. I agree with you there, Joe. I definitely agree. Red Chimps and Smith will look minus 2,000. He might, dude, especially if he sparks him early. But it's a wide line, but I think he's gonna run through this dude. Kazama and Sircar are both total cans. I tend to agree with you, my man. Red Chimp, I agree with Weezy regarding Gabby. I think Gabby wins, but it's more risky than the rest of the heavy chalk. Yeah, man, I think that's the thing. It's risky because we know how Julia is going to be dangerous, and she's been that ever since she was in the Ultimate Fighter house a long time ago. Everyone knew, got to watch out for this girl. She doesn't win any other way but by first round armbar. And so, Gabriella knows what to train for here. So let's see if she can stop it. Saw Erbina slamming some fireball shooters last weekend at the pub. Erbina, man. Yeah, the guy doesn't train. I mean, let's see how he does in the fight, man. Daz File saying he shells up with a gust of wind. Yeah, he's gotten hurt a few times, man. MB saying you're styling the sweaters. I'm a sweater guy. Also, my friend, appreciate you, MB. I got quite a few sweaters like right off screen over there. I kind of go to the same ones over and over again. I should go a little bit more with a little bit of a variety. We've seen him fight twice. The guy is clueless. You might be talking about Sircar. He stinks. Mr. 25 saying, Weezy, what section are you guys sitting in at UFC 319? So I think it's our guy Benino that has the tickets for us, for me and Brady and Avery. And I would have to ask Benino. And he went to bed already. So, but I think we got good seats, dude. I think they're 100 level. I'm going to hang on just a second here. I'm going to scroll back in my DMs with Brady here off screen and see if he said what section these tickets were supposed to be in. We talk a lot of fights, so I'm going to have to probably scroll way back. There's that. Damn it. I don't know. I would have to keep scrolling back here, and I don't want to just ruin the show by scrolling this far back. But it might even be in the Twitter DMs. Either way, I don't know yet, but I'll let you guys know what on Fight Week for sure, so that you guys can come and say hi. Joseph Gasparian saying Sircar had people thinking Aslan. He's so bad, dude. And I'm not talking about Aslan. Aslan's pretty good. Fucking Sircar, man. Red Chimp saying that he had Walker that fight and had it scored it for Walker. I think his shit body language lost him the fight. Yeah, I think his striking needs some work. You know, he's new to the sport, but he's got the size. He's clearly got the heart. He's got a good chin, and the grappling game is there. So the striking is going to continue to improve. But that was a hell. I mean, that was such a hard UFC debut to go out there and fight, you know, that level of an opponent in Alonzo Menafield, who has that many wins. You know, that was a tough UFC debut, and he performed really well. Yeah, definitely a good performance for a short notice showing. Okay, he did say that he was openly retiring. Got it, man. No way Weezy picking Sleepy CLT. I am picking him, man. I'm picking him here, but I do think that there is a way that Eric can really drag this fight into deep waters by clinching up, by kind of fighting with that same game plan that he fought against Jun Young Park. Synonymous Clay saying CLD most likely getting a decision. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what the markets are saying for sure. They got CLD decision, I think, at like minus 110. And they've got the inside the distance prop at like plus 165. So, yeah, minus 105 for the decision, plus 165. So they're definitely saying he's got a bigger chance to win by decision. And Eric Anders has his 6 losses in 3-round fights at the UFC level have been decisions. So if Leroy Duncan were to get a KO against him, it would be the first one in a 3-round fight that we've seen Eric Anders knocked out. Something's got to give. The Anders glass chin or Duncan's pillow fist inability to finish. Yep, agreed. Brandon saying love CLD by finish. What could possibly go wrong? I know, right? Because that would be the Smasher TV play of the week, where you bet CLD to finish and then he fucking throws 150 spinning hook kicks that don't hit anything but fresh air. He's plus 180 inside there. That's a good number, plus 180. Anders got dropped by Old Man Weidman's jab, and he got dropped by Pickett the fight before that, and he got dropped by Barrio the fight before that. This is a trap. The finish line is manipulated, going to be a gritty decision. Yeah, I mean, I could absolutely see it being a decision, because if Anders looks to slow the fight down, he might be able to. CLD is English. He won't be getting a finish. I could see an elbow in the clinch. I could see that, man. Matsumoto by sub is plus 500. I have a feeling he subs him. He could get that guillotine, man. He loves it. Doing all that calculation shit to tell people Krylov is going to beat Guskov. Yup. Thought he would. Mike Metal, don't forget Weezy. Last week I called Duncan and Neil in the chat. Yeah. I did not have Neil Magny, that is for sure. And then, yeah, Chris Duncan had a great performance. I still have to watch that fight. I didn't get to watch that fight. Got to see that one. Give your Uncle Weezy money. Do it now, says my guy Muhammad. Appreciate you, my man. We got Tristan saying, do you think Michael Miles Johns will be tentative of this fight after witnessing his brother be knocked out for the first time? I didn't know that his brother got knocked out. I think Johns is always very defensively responsible, Tristan. He's got some of the best distance striking defense in the UFC, by the numbers, that is. And yeah, I think that he's always pretty cautious about being a counter heavy fighter means that you're going to slow down the offense of your opponent. So I don't think he's going to necessarily be tentative, but I think that Matsumoto needs to pressure him to look the best version of himself. We got Fromage Frog saying the darkness, probably when I was talking about Cannoneer. Gasparian saying Ersk can't afford to lose. He's a legit grappler. Yeah, he can't. Dude, he does not want to lose 4 fights in a row in the UFC. I guarantee you. Subs him, in my opinion. Agree you. Terrion Ware in the room saying Weezy is in the man. Make sure you all like the stream. I hope that's the real Terrion Ware, fucking one of the OGs of the sport. Been around for a minute. Good fucking wrestler. Good to see Terrion Ware hanging out in here, my man. Baltimore is saying LFG. Always looking forward to the next Uncle Weezy video. Let's stack these cash tickets like motherfucking flapjacks, baby. Let's go, my man. Good to see Baltimore is hanging out in here. Red Chimp saying Dolidze inside the distance. Decision, no action at plus 215 alone. I fucking love those odds so much. I agree with that. Because I think that if Hernandez gets a finish, it'll be late because the pace, he'll break him at some point. But I think that you still think that Dolidze probably needs the finish in order to win this fight. We got Sammy Malcolm in the room saying long time. Oh, what's up, Sammy? Good to see you hanging out in here. We got J-Mo saying tits up last Weezy. We did our best. Uncle Weezy for president. It went tits up for me too, dude. 4.51 units I lost. My God, man. Just got shaved. I'm fucking sick of it, J-Mo. Sick of it, dude. Red Chimp saying someone talks Dolidze down, they get twisted into a pretzel almost instantly. Let's see if he can do it to Hernandez. This is such a good fight. Dolidze versus Hernandez is such a good fight. I can't wait for that main event. Fluffy Low Key is hyped. He's rinsed a lot of bad grapplers, so we'll see how he does against somebody like Dolidze, because Brendan Allen, that fight was really close, dude. And we've seen Brendan Allen kind of get taken down and rinsed by guys like Jacob Malkoon in the past. So it's happened before. He's been vulnerable to getting taken down and kind of blanketed. But, Hernandez can get a little bit submission over position. And Dolidze is just so aggressive with his BJJ. Barely got through Allen, agreed. People think he's Marab. Who did he gas out? Edmond, known gasser. Rodolfo, no experience, gassed him out going for a finish. Off the Juice Pereira, who gassed half a round into the Abu's fight. I know, man. That was wild. Allen was probably one position away from winning, and I agree with that too. Caveman saying, bro, Fluffy ran through Allen. 4 takedowns, 2 reversals over 2 full rounds of control time in a 3-round fight. He got the win, but he lost round 1 by falling off and then absorbing more damage. And in round 3, he got reversed a couple of times by Allen, but then Allen lost position. So he could have lost that fight. The second round was really good for Hernandez, though. 29-28 on all the cards. Allen hurt him with the jab early in the third and lost position. That's true. People making it seem like he ran through him is not the case. Yeah, Allen threw it away in the last 30 versus him. He was clearly winning round 3. Yep. Took a shot at Dolidze. I did too. Plus 270. I got 280. Enjoying this banter. I love you, Exclusive Oro. Good to see you hanging out. We got Joseph saying Roman is planning to rip to the body early. It's a good idea against Hernandez. We got Moy's audio saying Stink Ranko Nation. Let's go, baby. Let's get that first round submission. I got a half unit on it. I'm trying to win 5 units. Let's go, baby. We got Exclusive saying I think Lindo dominates, or will Hill 3.5 handicap be a good look? I think the Hill 3.5 probably hits, but it might be like minus 200. Joseph saying I think it's a 50-50 fight. I do too. Lindo needs to wrestle to dominate win. I think that she does, but if you look at how she struck against Yasmin Jauregui, she can win minutes on the feet too. And another shout out to my guy Moo for the crazy, ridiculous. Really meant to put $5 in, but $500 from my guy Moo. I hope that something I said made you hit big last week, and I truly appreciate the super kind donation. Ring a ding ding. Well, I'll be here next week just because of Moo for sure. Thank you so much, Wu. We got Caveman Yogi saying only bets I'd make on the main event: Fluffy by decision and Roman by KO TKO. Got it. We got Joseph Kasparian saying Fluffy is live finish, though, especially if he can put it on. Yeah, I think it is. He's always live for a late finish because this dude is just an absolute killer with his cardio. Joseph saying and Roman is legit live for a sub if he can get position. Yes, I think so. We'll see, man. We got Asan is in the room saying, damn, what is up, Asan? Good to see you hanging out in here. Brandon R saying Weezy 2028. Oi! And we got John Dong in the room saying, damn, bro, what is up, John Dong? Good to see you hanging out in here. Brandon saying the real hero. That's right. That's what heroes do, you guys. Exclusive Oro saying fight doesn't go for both Fluffy and Steve are plus money. What way would Ode win? Ode would probably win by a knockout because we've seen Ersk be hittable and we've seen him be knocked out before. Now you have to start to redo the show. There we go. I know, man. It's a big fucking hit. Love it. Sup, Uncle? Got 3 favorite money lines for me. No, I think all the money lines this week are dog shit. So 3 fighters that I think are going to win. Elijah Smith at minus 750. Jocelyn Edwards at minus 370. Earl Smedic at minus 450. And that'll get you minus 132. So don't do it. But that would be my 3-leg parlay if you were like, Unc, pick me out 3 that you really think you'd be fucking shocked if they lost. And it would be Elijah Smith, Jocelyn Edwards, and Earl Smedic. I mean, like these fights are wild this week, you guys. These lines are crazy. Sammy saying, caught this late, gonna rewatch this. Can't wait. Thank you for joining us, man. Zeus Spaced saying, let's get paid this week, Uncle Weezy. Fluffy is my last leg on 2 parlays from UFC Vegas 108, but you convinced me to put some cash on Dolidze just in case. Yeah, I think he's going to be very dangerous early. But the thing about Fluffy is, and I said this to my odd shopper community, there comes a point in the fight where it's just over. The fight's not over yet, but you know that this dude is not going to come back against Fluffy. And so that's the scary thing about betting against somebody like that is, you know, he has just got momentum. And when he starts to get you tired, he turns up and he just can push through being tired like very few fighters can. So he's got a terrifying pace that he puts on. My guy Damare is in the room, going to try to pay off my house with a full unit on Stolyarenko round 1 and Dolidze by sub. Let's go. If you pay off that house, fucking let me crash on the couch for a couple days and we'll fucking party. We'll just fucking party, you know? Because that is a great fucking parlay, man. $25 to win 4,350. Or if you put a full unit on it, like $100 for if your unit size is 100, it would be 17,400. So yeah, man, could be a good parlay, but I love that long shot parlay this week. We got my guy D is in the room saying, Uncle Weezy, what is up, D Spearman? Good to see you in here, man. We got Daz Files saying, Moo, legendary brother, legendary without question. Saying legend. Synonymous saying, bro paying himself. We got my guy Matt in here saying, oi, I don't know why I'm up so late. I got to be up at 7 a.m. for work, and I'm on the East Coast. Dear God, Matt. But Weezy was live, so I got to drop in to say, oi, to my favorite uncle. Good to see you hanging out in here, Matt. I hope all is well, brother. Daz Files saying, can't wait till Weezy gets to the big dono. So excited. Happy for him. He deserves it. I thank Moo endlessly. And thank you, Daz Files, for the donation. And thank you, Low T City Ortega, for the donation. Truly appreciate you guys. Exclusive saying it should be called Late Night with Uncle Weezy the next time with this time zone. Glad I napped. That's for sure, man. Also, super Greasy three-leg Gabbies. Gabby, Edwards, and Ersk all sub 2-3 plus 42,300. Okay. I like Edwards sub 2-3. I like Ersk sub 2-3. And then Gabby sub 2-3, man. I could see that hitting, man. That's a big number, and I could fucking see it hitting. Exclusive saying plus 9,000 on bet 365. Oh my God, wow, plus 9,000, dude. That's crazy. We got Biggie Boy saying John Jones lost to Reyes, though. Yeah, he kind of did, man. Crazy Big Moo says Will. Yes, we got Don Placontent. Like rent, you won't own a thing. Question, do you play DFS MMA? Yes, I do. I play it on DraftKings. DraftKings. Baltimore is saying, glad you're picking Roman. I have a feeling he's going to win. I'll win 4 units if he wins. So I would be very happy about that. Insidious Gorilla in the room saying, damn, Late Night Weezy AM radio. Let's go, man. Yeah, I got that DJ voice. And now on the next fight, we have got Mechanico versus Cody Brundage. Yeah, the AM radio could be a gig for me as well if the capping fights thing ever goes tits up, and maybe it will, dude. I picked Nikita Krylov to beat Bogdan Guskov, so it takes a lot of guts for me to even show up here after making that pick. So yeah, maybe I'll have to turn to AM radio. We got Weezy insomnia maxing just like me. You're damn right, man. I slept early. It's like 1:40 a.m. here. I'm going to be up for probably another couple hours. I think all your bets will cash. I hope they do, Baltimoreist. I want to make a ton of money this week. We got getting closer to the dono. Let's fucking go. Let's go, baby. Appreciate you, Daz Files. We got Fromage saying better first title defense for Khamzat. Kaio or Imavov, you are getting ahead of yourself, Fromage Fraud. I mean, Khamzat still got to go through Dricus du Plessis, the fighting pride of South Africa. I think it would be Kaio. I think maybe Kaio, but I don't know. They're both deserving. Imavov and Kaio are both on phenomenal runs, and Kaio's striking is really starting to impress me. PayPal that shit next time. YouTube takes 33%. I appreciate this. It's just amazing to get a $500 donation. So yeah, YouTube does take a lot, but it's amazing to get that kind of a donation. It really means a lot. Fluffy had broken ribs and was sick when he fought Brendan Allen. Yeah, well, Fluffy gets hurt a lot. He might be coming into this fight with an injury. And I don't listen to, I had this. I was sick the night before. I don't listen to that kind of shit. The in the cage performance is the only thing that I care about. Words mean nothing to me. So yeah, I mean, I've heard that too. But don't forget. Let me show you something about Hernandez. Well, I'm not going to show it to you, but guy pulls out of fights all the time. He's got a lot of injuries. Exclusive Oro saying, leave it to the gorilla to make a donation feel like nothing. It was a great donation, man. I'll take it, dude. Big boy say Ersk sub, Elijah Smith TKO round 1, Medic KO plus 740. I like it. I think it hits. I'm picking all of those results. Moo Moo, says Fromage Frog. Hell yeah. Exclusive Oro saying they're saying Moo was the legend with the donation, Weezy. But yes, you are a legend too. Did I take the credit for being the legend? I'm a prick, dude. Okay, man. Moo is the legend for sure, man. That's for sure. Baltimore is saying only one I disagree with is Stoliorenko, but I understand. Yeah, man, you know, I'm taking a shot on that one. Like I said, I told my people too. I go, hey, I think she's going to win by first round sub. If she doesn't, she's not going to win in the second. She's not going to win in the third. I'm just saying it's happening in round one, you know? So, but yeah, man, we're taking a shot there. My guy saying, Weezy, new Baby Metal drop today. Baby Metal. YouTube. Baby Metal. I was listening to a lot of let's see. I've never heard of these guys. Road to Resistance. Are they Japanese girls? Baby Metal, Give Me Chocolate. Huh. I've never heard of Baby Metal. I will check it out. Today I was listening to King Buffalo. Really cool concert film that they did. Sorry. Pause. Okay. Yeah. King Buffalo, Acheron, complete film. Really interesting. They're a great band. They're going to be opening up for All Them Witches when they come to Chicago in December. And King Buffalo is something that I'm listening to right now and digging quite a bit. But Baby Metal is going to have to be on the list to have things to check out. We got exclusive saying, great late night live. Have a great night, Weezy. Thanks for always for the time letting us cheat. Some for free. We see you guys. Yeah, exclusive Oro is part of the Odd Shopper community, and I appreciate you for it, brother. We got Kendall the Spider Grove saying, Uncle Weezy taking care of us Pacific Islanders. Kendall Grove, one of the guys I used to watch on the Ultimate Fighter way back in the day. Ultimate Fighter champion. Tall, long dude with great submissions. Kendall the Spider Grove, appreciate you, brother. I mean, that'd be cool if Terrion Ware was in here and Kendall Grove. That would be really fucking cool. But appreciate you guys hanging out here. Baltimore is saying, nighty night. Keep your butthole tight is easily the best. That's not mine, though. I mean, that was obviously Dave Chappelle on Chappelle's show. But yeah, that is one that I stole from the great Dave Chappelle. Yeah, bro got Weezy looking up Japanese metal. I'm gonna check it out, man. I'm gonna check it out. I like some metal. We got Steamboat Willie is in the room and he's saying, Weezy, give me an oi. What is up, Willie? We got exclusive Oro saying, never thought this crossover would happen. And we got Insidious Gorilla saying, damn, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make that donation feel inadequate. That's a legendary dono. I was just thinking of, never mind, I'm an idiot. Blame the tism. Dude, appreciate all you guys for hanging out. 226 still live hanging out in here. Let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC Vegas 109. If you want access to all my track bets, if you want to be in my Discord, if you want access to all my fight write-ups, all my stat packages, all my betting models, and all the exclusive content that you don't see for free here on YouTube, including Balls Deep breakdowns and probability, check out that probability stats and content package for $25 a month. You won't regret it. I am the Netflix of UFC YouTube, man. I got the best content out there, the best betting models, and I'm dedicated to this. This is what I do for a living, is I provide information to UFC bettors who want to have access to the best possible statistics, betting models, and information and fight write-ups that I could possibly do. So I work my ass off, and it'd be great if I would make more money working my ass off and that you guys could be cheating off of me in order to make yourselves better UFC bettors. So click that link in the description of the video. Support the work. Truly appreciate you guys. Moo, thank you for the legendary $500 donation, man. You don't ever see shit like that happening on YouTube, and I truly appreciate it. Thank you, Daz Files. Thank you, Low T City Ortega, for the donations, and thank the rest of you for watching. hit that thumbs up on your way out, hit that subscribe, leave me a comment down below, and let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC Vegas 109. Enjoy the fights and good luck on all your bets, you guys. Take care. We'll see you.